Good. Okay. Hey everybody, Dustin Dopirak here, intern Troy Provost-Heron. Out here at Memorial Stadium in Columbia, where it's really, really cold outside. You guys don't know anything about this. It's probably like 55 or 60 in Knoxville right now. It's freezing here. Anyway, Tennessee wins 19-8 in a game that was as ugly as I think you would have expected. But you didn't expect this game to be artistic, and I think it still says a lot for Tennessee. They were able to come in and win this kind of game, knowing it was going to be low scoring, knowing they just had to get points wherever they could get them, and knowing they were facing a really good defense. They were able to move the ball a lot, especially really between the 20s. Weren't great in the red zone, but ran the ball pretty well. I think it says a lot, mostly for Tennessee's offensive line, that they were able to keep Josh Dobbs from getting sacked and rush for 248 yards today.
Yeah, Jalen Hurd rushes for a career high 151. When he's going, their offense is at their best, and he got it going early, and they kind of rode him all the way down, and they weren't able to score a lot of touchdowns, but they were able to get into position to score, and against a Missouri team that just isn't very good.
It doesn't give up points.
It isn't very good at scoring either.
Yes, that too.
So scoring those points early and kind of building that lead was big.
Yeah, no, definitely. When you mentioned Hurd, he seemed to be really running inspired. I think Tennessee's offensive line did really well to create more holes, really, frankly, than we would have expected. I think they were a lot more dominant and better than I would have thought. But they basically just kept Missouri's defenders out of the backfield. Jalen Hurd was able to make guys miss, but he just seemed like he really ran inspired as much as we've seen. I'm sure there's going to be some complaints about conservative play calling in this game, but I thought the speed option was a big addition in this game, and I think something they could use going forward. It seemed like that was something that was really effective, just to find a way to get the ball to the outside to Hurd.
Yeah, it was a different wrinkle than we've seen. He had that 131-yard carry off of it that was pretty huge. It's a different wrinkle, and when you can throw that kind of stuff in with just the regular read option and just passing and all that. It was a little bit too. People will say it was a little bit too conservative, but I thought, again, with the way Missouri doesn't score the ball, and you just want to you really do at that point just want to let the clock run.
No, conservatism makes sense against Missouri because they're not going to score against you, and the one thing that you can't do is turn the ball over, give them a short field, get risky, and lose the field position game. They won the field position game by a ton. I'm not, still got to add that up to find out what the difference was, but it had to be huge. They were starting their drives at or close to Missouri territory most of the time, and Missouri was starting a lot of its drives inside its own 15. So that obviously was a big game changer. Defensively, again, you knew Missouri was pretty weak moving the ball, but this, defensively, with the possible exception of maybe two drives in there, the touchdown drive and also that 144-yard pass that sort of flipped field position a little bit, defense, they were darn near perfect.
Yeah, everybody came in talking about Missouri's defense, and Tennessee's defense outplayed Missouri's defense today. They had 6 3-and-outs, and really, they only allowed 62 yards in the first half. When you can do that to a team, it's going to be tough to lose the game that way. They were, like you said, they were dang near perfect, and it was a great performance for them.
Yeah, first half, I think Missouri completed 5 passes. 1 went for 21 yards. The other 4 combined went for -1. So that's how stingy they were in the back end in the first half. Again, they had some breakdowns late, gave up that big deep post pass that locked through to Leftwich. And had a couple other ones, the 21-yarder, I think, that set Missouri up at the 1 and eventually led to them getting a touchdown. But so a few breakdowns in the back end, but otherwise just more or less a terrific defense performance, again, against a bad defense. And they had, I think, an 8-quarter streak of not giving up a point against 2 horrendous defenses between North Texas.
minutes and 59 seconds.
125 minutes was that? I thought it was 110. One or another, a long time they spent not giving up any points. So it says a lot. I think this game, I think, says a lot for how this team's maturing. Able to go on the road against a team that was pretty fired up playing the last game, last home game for Gary Pinkel's career, and in the elements. Again, it's probably a 30-40 degree drop from what it was in Knoxville all week. They managed to hang around and do that, and I think it sets them up well. The last game, basically next week could be pretty much a mirror image of this, because Vanderbilt is more or less the same situation. They can't move the ball, but they defend really well. They don't give up points. It's kind of it has a chance to be almost the exact same game, and they've obviously set themselves up well for that situation. So again, if they do another one of these, got a chance at should be 8-4. Frankly, would be their best record since 2007. So they set themselves up pretty well in this one. So anyway, thanks everybody.